Dhammam saranam gacchami Sangham saranam gacchami Dutiyampi buddham saranam gacchami Dutiyampi dhammam saranam gacchami Dutiyampi sangham saranam gacchami Tatiyampi buddham saranam gacchami Tatiyampi dhammam saranam gacchami Tatiyampi sangham saranam gacchami Panatipata veramani sikkhapadang samadhiyami Adinnādāna veramani sikkhapadang samadhiyami Kāmesu miccācārā veramani sikkhapadang samadhiyami Musāvādā veramani sikkhapadang samadhiyami Suramēraya majjapamādhatthānā veramani sikkhapadang samadhiyami Sansāra sāroga vinītani sam Sannīta sātam sucisāradhīsam Sandhīrakam sonna tanupalāsam Sanglāpadesiṃ panamē visāsam Sansābhigaṃ kevalamōhanāsaṃ Sannāhakanmāra-rane visesam Saṅsevitaṃ dāsimudārahāsam Saṅhāra dhammaṃ panamē sadāsam Sandāsagannāsita pāpanāsam Sannāpadansiṃ hatagorapāsam Sampāragāmiṃ sucisāravāsam Saṅvāra saṅgham panamē rasāsam Sasara sada sayura navata Nivan vada patirananati dirimatrang Patak leda නිතර දිලෙන තුම් සදහම් දෙසන ලද වැතිර වඳිමි මගේ සම්බුදු මහිමි සඳ සකතන් දුරු කරන එලෙසින් මෝනසන යුදෙදුම් ලෙසින් මර යුදයෙහි දිවි රකින ඇසුරින් සතුට දෙන කෙලෙසුන් ඇති නසන වඳිනෙම් බැතින් සිරි සදහම් මිනි පහන සග සැප දෙන නැසිය යුතු පව් හැම නසන බව බෙමි සුණු විසුණු කර නිති ගුණ පුරන ලත් සැප දමා පරතෙර වෙත net යොමන වඳිනෙම් නිතිපතා පින්සරෝ මහා සංඝන සමන්ත චක්කවාලේසු අත්‍රා ගච්ඡන්තු දේවතා සද්දම්මං මුනි රාජස්ස සුනන්තෝ සග්ග මොක්ඛදම් ධම්මස්සවන කාලෝ අයං බදන්තා ධම්මස්සවන කාලෝ අයං බදන්තා ධම්මස්සවන කාලෝ අයං බදන්තා නමෝ තංස භගවතෝ අරහතෝ සම්මා සම්බුද්දන්ස නමෝ තංස භගවතෝ අරහතෝ සම්මා සම්බුද්දන්ස නමෝ තංස භගවතෝ අරහතෝ සම්මා සම්බුද්දන්ස සම්මා දිට්ඨිං පහං බින්කවේ ද්වයං වදාමි අත්ථි බික්කවේ සම්මා දිට්ඨි සාසවා පුඤ්ඤ භාගියා උපදිවේ පක්ඛා අත්ථි බික්කවේ සම්මා දිට්ඨි අරියා අනාසවා ලෝකුත්තරා මග්ගංගාති. Dear reverences, dear friends in Dhamma, good evening for everybody. In this very good evening for everybody, this very pleasant evening, all of you gathered here to listen what Buddha said. You know, according to Buddhism, listening to Buddha's message is a very rare, auspicious moment. We are listening to Buddha's message because of a lot of merits that we have done in our previous life. Buddhism says this moment, this is very rare. It says in Buddha's language in Pali, Shana Sampattiya, Khana Sampattiya. It means very rare, auspicious moment. You know, although there are a lot of people, a lot of human beings in the world, most people have not this chance because they have no enough merits and wishes to listening to this message. Among them, you can be happy. You are so fortunate You have done a lot of merits to listening to this message. First of all, I would like to convey my gratitude for the resident monks here about inviting me for this sermon. Although, Bhante Chandima has explained a lot of things about me, I am a very newcomer to Buddhism, and I know a little. Sometimes you know more than I know. However, as my knowledge, I am going to explain what Buddhism is. According to your understanding, what you mean, what Buddha explained in the world, what is his message? Dukkha. Yes, what is the dukkha? What is the meaning of dukkha?
Everything is dukkha.
Yeah. Can you explain what is dukkha?
Unsatisfactory. Unsatisfactory.
Yes, unsatisfactoriness. What is the nature of unsatisfactoriness? How do we identify unsatisfactoriness or suffering?
Because everything happens beyond our wish.
Mm-hmm.
Because we expect something that's not true.
Mm-hmm.
Like we want everything is permanent,
Mm-hmm.
but the nature is impermanent.
Mm-hmm. What is the meaning of impermanence that Buddha said?
Anitya.
Anicca, yes, that is the Buddha's language in Pali. According to your understanding, what is the meaning of impermanence that Buddha explained?
Everything is changing every moment.
Have you any other idea, understanding what anicca is?
Not permanent.
Yes.
All those components, things are subject to decay. Last words. So uncertainty, the change, suffering continues.
Mm-hmm. You mean that Buddha realized, Buddha understood changing, only changing? Even scientists, they also have understood the changing.
He
means
also understood the way to end the suffering.
Mm-hmm. Yes, we will discuss it. There is a very special meaning of impermanence. Before Prince Siddhartha go to the jungle, before he give up his property and his palace, actually he had understood the changing. He saw old person, dead person, sick person. He saw. He knew the changing.
Not too deep.
Yes, deep. But after he enlightened, after he became a Buddha, he explained, I understood something which I didn't understand before. That is very important. Ananusutesu dhammesu chakkun nudapadi. I realized the special thing which I didn't understand before. Therefore, changing and impermanence are different. According to Buddhism, end of the sermon, we will be going to understand the real meaning of impermanence. When we listening to Buddha's message, Buddha says we should use Dhamma as a reflection, as a mirror. When we listening to Buddha's message, when we are knowledgeable about Buddhism, we understand ourselves. It is like a mirror. When we go to the mirror, we can understand our body, our nature. Dhamma also like that. But some people, they use Dhamma as a glass. Glass and mirror are different. Yes, some people use Dhamma as a glasses. When they are knowledgeable about Buddhism, they are going to realize, they are going to understand, they are going to search others' mistakes through Dhamma. That is not the clear way that we gain the result from the Buddhism. Therefore, always we should use Dhamma as a mirror, as a reflection. As much as we are knowledgeable about Buddhism, we should have good knowledge what happens to our life. What happens to my mind and body? This is the purpose of understanding Buddhism. On the other hand, Buddha says, this path is a gradual path. Gradually it is going to deep level. At the very beginning, it is not in a deep level. It is like, going to the ocean. Little by little, we go to the ocean from deeper to deep. That is the nature of the Dhamma. At the very beginning, we can understand the common things that Buddha has explained. It is common to other religions and other philosophies too. But in the deep level, Buddhism has a unique. It is the only thing that we can see in the world in Buddhism. However, today, I am going to explain you that is a very important doctrine in Buddhism, that Samma Ditthi. Samma Ditthi, right understanding, it is a very important doctrine that Buddha has explained to our knowledge. What is the meaning of right understanding, right view, right vision? Yes, Four Noble Truths, Chatusatya Sammaditthi, yes. What else? Is there any other meaning about Sammaditthi? Sammaditthi can be divided into two. The first level of Sammaditthi is understanding of karmic law. It says in Buddhism in Pali, Kammasakata Sammaditthi. The second level of Sammaditthi, as you mentioned, the knowledge of Four Noble Truths. Both of them are very important. As much as we have knowledge of Sammaditthi, we can understand what happens to the world, what happens to our life, and also we can understand what is the cause of suffering, how we get rid of suffering. This is very important for our real happiness. Our happiness depends on how far we have understood right understanding, right vision, Sammaditthi. It is in Buddhism, it says as wisdom. Wisdom is the main thing that we should develop little by little in our life. The first level of Sammaditthi is understanding of karmic law. What is the nature of karmic law? When we listen to Buddha's message, at the very beginning we are knowledgeable about karmic law. This is very important. For this understanding, we have to listen to Buddha's message very carefully, with good attention, and also we have to reflect on it again and again. Both of them are very important. Dhamma savanam and yoniso manasikaram. For the understanding of right view, we have to listen to Buddha's message, and also we have to reflect on it again and again. Not only listening here. We usually see that people are very faithful in the Dhamma hall. They have good attention in the Dhamma hall. They have a very good conversation in Dhamma hall. But when we go away from Dhamma hall, they have the usual life. They have no difference in their life. Then we have no difference in our life. If we don't practice, if we don't reflect in it again and again, we can see a difference in our life. Therefore, not only listening to this message, but we have to reflect on it again and again while we are living. What is the nature of the karmic law in the first level of Sammaditthi? When we do something with unclear mind, wicked mind, we will have the same result. Bad results. Because our mind is not clear. On the other hand, if we do something with pure mind, we will have the same results. we will have the fruitful results because of pure mind. This is the first level of Samma Ditthi. This is very important. If we have this knowledge, always we try to go away from evils. Why do we go away from evils? With this understanding. We know very well, if we do something with wicked mind, we will have bad results. We don't like negative results. Therefore, always we try to go away from negative behaviors in our life. This is the first message that Buddha has explained to in the world. Sabba papa sakarana. We go away from evil, not only successful in this life, for the sansaric journey. Some people may think that we should go away from evil because of hell in next birth. But when we do some bad deeds in our life with wicked mind, we have a lot of troubles in this life. We have no real happiness. That is why we should go away from evils, unwholesome deeds in this life. This is the first understanding. The second thing, with right understanding, we do good deeds in our life. Practice good deeds, wholesome deeds in this life. When we do something with pure mind, we will have the same results, fruitful results. Our life is full with happiness if we keep our mind with calm and quiet. That is why we do good deeds in our life with pure mind, such as practicing generosity, practicing morality, practicing meditation. When we do these kind of activities in our life, we can live with happiness. It helps us to live in happiness. That is why we practice good deeds in our life. Buddha says very special thing that every good deeds depend on gratitude. This is a very good quality that we have to practice in our day-to-day life, gratitude. In Buddha's language, in Pali, it says, Kevala hesa bhikkhave sappursa bhumi yadidang katanyuta katavedi. If there are any good deeds in this life, everything depends on gratitude. When you clean here, that is also gratitude. When you wash your car, that is also gratitude. When you do your job well, honestly, that is also gratitude. If you wash your body, that is also gratitude. If you take care of your parents, that is also gratitude. Look at here. Everything that we do as good deeds in our life depends on gratitude. Therefore, from the beginning to end, we have to practice this quality in our life. What is that? Gratitude. Katanyuta in Pali. Kalaguna salakima in Sinhala. That is very important. And with this quality, little by little, we practice meritorious deeds in our life. It starts at home. If you have elders, if you have old parents, you should take care of them at home. If you take care of some pets or some animals at home, you have to feed them kindly. After that, you can practice your generosity and other qualities outside your house. Therefore, little by little, we should try to practice good deeds in our life. Dana or generosity is the first level of merit. When we offer something to a person who is honorable or who is in need, then when we practice generosity, our mind is very calm and quiet. We have compassion, we have loving kindness when we practice generosity. That is very important for our inner peace. Actually, we do everything in the name of inner peace. If we have no inner peace of mind, Actually, everything that we have earned useless. Therefore, always we should take care of our mind. But usually we take care of everything except mind. But the special thing that we should take care of, that our mind. This is very important. And in this path, the first meritorious act that we practice, generosity or dana. That is very important. Not only generosity that we practice with the understanding of Samma Ditthi, that we are going to develop our moral conduct, virtue. That is also very important. Discipline in our speech and behavior. We know very well, with the understanding of right view, we have a good behavior, good discipline in our life. It is very useful for our life, for our happiness. That is why when we do something behaviorally, and if we speak something verbally, we reflect on it again and again. Before we do something, before we speak something, we think again and again. We should reflect on it, whether it is good or bad. That is very important. Discipline in speech and behavior is very useful for our success, for our happiness. The next meritorious act is meditation. What is the meditation? Meditation means mental culture and develop our mind in the correct way. Little by little we practice, we clean our mind from negative feelings, negative emotions by practicing meditation. Especially by practicing meditation, we try to keep our mind in the present moment. This is very important. On the path of liberation, on the path of purification, Buddha says practicing loving kindness is very important. This is the very first level meditation technique. If you don't practice meditation, it means you haven't come to the path of liberation. Every day you chant Karaniya Metta Sutta. In Metta Sutta it says the importance of practicing loving kindness. We mostly suffer because of anger. By practicing loving kindness, we try to reduce our anger. Our happiness depends on how far we have reduced anger. As the result of practicing loving kindness, we have an ability to see other person as our only son or daughter. Mata yatani yam putrang ayusa eka putta manurakhe. If a mom has an only son, that mom looks that only son as an eye. Although that son has mistakes, she is not angry with his son because he is only one son of her. If we can develop this attitude in our life, be sure we can reduce 50% sufferings in our day-to-day life. Therefore, try to practice loving kindness in your life day by day. It is very important for our inner happiness. In the first level of Samma Ditthi, we try to develop our knowledge about karmic law. With the knowledge of karmic law, that we go away from evils, and also we try to practice good deeds, wholesome deeds in our life. What are the meritorious deeds, wholesome deeds in our life that we can practice? Dana, Sila, Bhavana, 3 meritorious deeds. What is the main quality of all these wholesome deeds? Gratitude. Foundation of these all good deeds is gratitude. And as much as you can practice these merits in your life, it means you practice happiness. This is the way that we decorate our mind. Buddha says practicing merit means practicing happiness. Practicing merit means decorating your mind. Actually, we do a lot of things to decorate our body and clothes and our houses, But what do you do to decorate your mind? When you are here, when you offer something to the Buddha, when you offer something to the Mahasangha, when you practice generosity, how nice, how beautiful your mind. This is the way that we decorate our mind. Don't give a chance to anybody or anything to disturb your peace of mind. Protect your mind and develop your mind day by day. Our success, our happiness, our proficiency depends on how far we are clever to overcome suffering, overcome evil, and also how far we are clever to generate good deeds, wholesome deeds in our day-to-day life. That is why we should usually do these kind of deeds in our life. Among these three meritorious deeds, Dana, Sila and Bhavana, what is the most important thing? Yes, Bhavana. Bhavana is the very successful way that we reduce our suffering. But however, don't forget, practice, generosity and gratitude. Those are the primary qualities that we have to develop in our day-to-day life. This is the knowledge of karmic law. This is the first level of Samma Ditthi, or right understanding. In this level, please listen in this very carefully. In this level, Buddhism and other religions, some philosophers are same. Some Buddhists know only this level. That is why they say Buddhism and other religions, other philosophers, all of them are same. In this level, actually it is same. But this is not only way that Buddha explained. There is another way, another thing that we have to practice to get rid of suffering and achieve real happiness. That is the second step of Samma Ditthi. It says, Buddha says, Arya Anasava Lokuttara Magganga. The second step of right understanding Samma Ditthi is the way how to get rid of suffering. How suffering arises. You know the reason, the cause of suffering. Attachment, desire, craving. Actually, this is the cause of suffering. All of you can say it. But how suffering arises? Suffering arises because of ignorance, because of delusion. I can give you an example. If there is a person who has blamed you, and now you are so pleasant, your appearance is very pleasant. There is a person who has blamed you a lot. Just now he is coming here. As soon as he comes here, he is coming here. What happens to you? Huh? Yes, you get angry. What is the reason? You go to the previous experience. You live in the previous experience. Because of ignorance, we have no ability to understand the cause of suffering. Automatically, our mind goes to the previous experience. We live there. That is why the suffering causes. In this way, Buddhism advises us how we get rid of suffering. If somebody wants to get rid of suffering, we should understand the nature of suffering and cause of suffering. That is why Buddha has explained to live in the present moment. By practicing meditation, we try to keep our mind in the present moment. It doesn't sound that you have to forget your past or future. There are some psychologists, Some educators, they say for your stress management, forget your past, forget your future, live in the present moment. Does Buddhism explain this way? Does Buddhism say you that forget your past or future? Never. Never. Don't misunderstand. Buddhism never says you that to forget your past or future. If you forget your past or future, be sure it is a big mistake in your life. It is a big mistake in your life when you practice Buddhism. If you practice Buddhism, it means you practice mindfulness. If you practice mindfulness, your memory grows up. You know, Arhantas, there are some Arhantas. An Arhanta can remember his whole life, not only this life. He can remember when he was in the mother's womb. He can remember his hundreds of past lives because of his understanding. Remembering your previous experience is not a fault. What is the fault?
Trying to live.
What is the fault? When you remember something in your past, if you live in the past, that is the cause of suffering. That is the reason of suffering. As soon as you remember something as your past experience, if you are knowledgeable, if you have mindfulness, now I read my mind, you can remember anything going to past. Living in the present moment, you can remember anything past or future. It doesn't matter. It is not the fault. Fault is without mindfulness. Sometimes when we remember something, our mind gradually runs to the past. This is the fault. According to Buddhism, if somebody wants to get rid of this cause of suffering, we have to practice three disciplines. Three characteristics. Which they are? What are the Trivida Shiksha, three characteristics?
Metta, karma.
Three disciplines. Those are the four sublime statements. I am asking you, what are the three disciplines? Three characteristics. They are Sila, Samadhi, Panya. Sila means virtue, Samadhi means tranquility or concentration, and Panya means wisdom. These three things we have to practice to get rid of suffering. At the very beginning, we should have good discipline with this understanding. Not only discipline or virtue that we should have, we should be knowledgeable about this path. That is why Buddha said, Janato ahang bhikkhave passato asavanang kayang vadami. He who sees Dhamma, he who knows Dhamma, I have recommended this path, the person who knows this path, who are knowledgeable this path. Without knowing this cause of suffering, although we practice these qualities, it may be a merit, but it doesn't help to get rid of evil, get rid of suffering and achieve real happiness. Therefore, when you are angry, when you are suffering, be sure at that moment you live in the past or future. When you live in the present moment with mindfulness and seeing impermanence, then nobody can disturb your peace of mind. Then you are happy. If you are not happy, if you suffer, if you get angry, if you have big attachment, if you have craving, it means be sure, be sensitive that you have no mindfulness and you have no knowledge of impermanence at that moment. You may be knowledgeable. Knowledge is very important. Not only knowledge that we should have, but we should have mindfulness. Although you are knowledgeable, if you don't have mindfulness, it means your knowledge is useless. Anybody can disturb your peace of mind, although you are knowledgeable, if you don't have mindfulness. That is why Buddha explains to practice mindfulness. What is the mindfulness? Awareness of our mind and body. What happens to my mind and body? The process of mind and body. If we are aware of our mind and body, it means we live in the present moment with mindfulness. When we see something, when we hear something, when we smell something, every moment if we can practice mindfulness, it means we are living without suffering. This is the path that Buddha has recommended to overcome suffering. In this path, little by little, we should practice it in our day-to-day life. How do we start this path? Very first level is the knowledge. Again and again, we have to listen to Buddha's message, the way how to get rid of suffering. One day Buddha said, you have to practice eightfold path. There are 8 qualities. Sometimes he has explained, you have to practice only 7 enlightenment states, enlightenment faculties, Sattva-Bojjhanga. Sometimes Buddha has explained, you have to practice only 5 spiritual faculties. Indriya Panchaka, Indriya Paha. Sometimes Buddha has explained, you have to practice only 3 disciplines, Sila, Samadhi, Panya. Sometimes like in Abhiññā Sutta, Buddha has explained, you have to practice only 2. What is that? Samatha and Vipassana, tranquility and wisdom. Finally, Buddha has explained, when you practice only 1, which is wisdom, then all qualities which cause to get rid of suffering gradually develops. The only thing, that wisdom. Every doctrines that Buddha has explained keep under one thing, which is wisdom. If we have wisdom, it means it relates to mindfulness. Mindfulness means whatever we do, if we can do it mindfully, with awareness, it means we should do it with awareness. When we do something, we mostly think some other thing. When you cook, when you drive, you think everything without what you do. It means you don't live in the present moment. When we do something, if we can do it with mindfulness, it means we live in the present moment. Our beauty of life depends on how far we are clever to live in the present moment. People are very hurried. They think their happiness depends on after they do something. When their kids are very young, they are very hurried to feed them. They don't see the beauty of their children's life in this moment. They always think in the future. They always think their future. They have lost the beauty of the present moment. Whatever we have in this moment, if we have ability to be happy with the present moment, it means our entire life is happy. Therefore, Buddha explained us to practice mindfulness, living in the present moment, not only living in the present moment with a concentrated mind, we should have an ability to understand what is impermanence. First of all, I explained you, at the end of the sermon, I explain impermanence. We usually think that impermanence is something changed, that is impermanence. That's also one of the qualities of impermanence, but both of them are not same. Everybody can understand changing. It is very easy to understand. Gradually, we are going to old age, we are going to sicknesses, we are subject to die, these buildings can be destroyed. This is the nature of the changing. Actually, it is not the clear and correct meaning of impermanence. Impermanence means if we have some experience through our senses, that experience arises this moment. For example, when you listen in this sound, when you heard this sound, was it here before you heard it? No, before you heard this, it was not here. After you heard this, does it remain?
In the mind.
No. Actually, it arises and ceases in this moment. It was not here before you hear it. It doesn't remain after you hear it. Our whole experience in our life is like this. This is the impermanence. But we usually think that my finger changes, my mind changes. It is very easy to understand. Everybody can understand it. That is not the impermanence, what Buddha understood, what Buddha realized, what Buddha explained to the world. The impermanence, what Buddha explained to the world, the conditional situation. When we see something, this picture arises this moment, this experience arises this moment. All other teachings, religions, philosophers explain the change in the world, that before we were born in the world, there was a world. After we die, the world remains. This is true, but this is only half of truth. In Buddhism, according to conventional truth, this is true. All regulations, rules depends on this truth. Actually, according to Buddhism, this truth only the first level of right understanding. What is the second level that Buddha explained, which helps to get rid of suffering? Before our experience arises, there is no world. After experience ceases, the world doesn't remain. The world that we experience through our senses arises at the moment when conditions are together. When conditions go away, the experience suddenly, instantly ceases. This is the truth, this is the ultimate truth that Buddha explained to get rid of suffering. Somebody can blame you, but he or she can blame once you. If you are ignorant, if you have no real understanding, you are blamed many times by your misunderstanding, by your ignorance. A person can blame you once. A person can blame you once. But if you think it with delusion, with ignorance, again and again, you are blamed by yourself. That is why we have to practice this path. If you work hard, if you earn money, if you study, you can earn something, you can earn some food or clothes. But it doesn't help to get rid of suffering. If you want to get rid of suffering, this is the path that Buddha explained. we should try to practice mindfulness and wisdom. Mindfulness means we try to practice our mind using some kind of meditation technique. There are 40 techniques in Buddhism in meditation. One of them is loving kindness meditation, breathing meditation. Actually, day by day, if we can practice some kind of meditation techniques, and if we can train our mind to live in the present moment, it means we are on the path of getting rid of suffering. It means we are on the path of liberation. We are on the path of happiness. As much as we develop mindfulness and wisdom, mindfulness means living in the present moment, keeping our mind in the present moment, and also wisdom means understanding or reflecting on impermanence. The experience that we receive through our senses arises in this moment. Not only arising, but suddenly it ceases. When conditions are together, the experience arises. When conditions go away, the experience instantly ceases without remaining anything. When you practice both of them again and again, it means 5 qualities, 5 spiritual faculties increase gradually. What they are? Saddha, Viriya, Sati, Samadhi, Panya. Saddha means confidence in Buddha's enlightenment. Virya means energy or effort to get rid of evil and to practice good deeds. Sati means mindfulness. Samadhi means tranquility or concentration. By practicing meditation, we try to keep our mind with a particular wholesome object for a long time. It says samadhi, concentration or tranquility. Panya means wisdom, seeing impermanence, arising and ceasing at the moment. These are the 5 mental faculties, spiritual faculties that we should develop in our day-to-day life. Our practice is very important. It is useful not only this life, but hereafter. As soon as a Buddha meets a person, what does he say? What does he see? Buddha says how far this person has developed these 5 things in his samsaric journey. When a Buddha meets a person, he doesn't care a person's caste, figure, education, healthy or richness. Buddha doesn't care them. This is the real dowry. This is the real property. Our all other properties go away when we die. This is the only thing, only dowry that we bring from birth to birth. Our success depends on how far we have practiced these 5 things. Although there are 5 things, finally we have to practice only 2, samatha and vipassana. Samatha means concentration, keeping your mind in the present moment with awareness, your mind and body, and also wisdom. Yes, vipassana and understanding of impermanence. You are very interested in having GPA and IQ. If you have higher GPA, grade point average, and also you have high level IQ, you are so happy, you are proud. Buddhism has explained some kind of GPA and IQ. What is the GPA that Buddhism says? If you have full awareness, full mindfulness, living in the present moment, that is the GPA that Buddha has recommended. This is the GPA. What is the IQ that Buddhism says? IQ means if you can see the impermanence As soon as you look at something, as soon as you hear something, as soon as you smell something, if you have an ability to understand, this experience arises this moment. It doesn't come to here from the past. It doesn't go to the future from the present. It arises and ceases in this moment. If you have this awareness, actually your IQ is very high. It means you have overcome suffering. You know, there are some persons who have higher level GPA and IQ. Sometimes they worry. Sometimes they are so sad. Sometimes they may get suicide. But if you have this GPA and IQ which Buddhism has recommended, actually you never fed up in your life. You are not sad in your life. Little by little, you are on the path of liberation. You are path on happiness. You are path on getting rid of suffering. It means your life is successful. That is why Buddhism says your complete success, proficiency depends on how far you have practiced mindfulness and wisdom. This is your dowry, this is your property, this is your real best friend who never forgets you, who never neglects you. But you know, although we have very close friends and relatives, someday they may go away, they will die. But this real property, best friend, relative, never forget you, never goes away from you. It is with you. This is the path that Buddha has recommended to getting rid of suffering. Now I am going to summarize what I explained. I try to explain the right understanding, right view, Samma Ditthi. In the first level of Samma Ditthi, we are knowledgeable about karmic law. If we do something with unclear mind, wicked mind, we will have the bad results, negative results. If we do something with pure mind, we will have the good results, fruitful results. This is the nature of the karmic law. If we have this knowledge, we always try to practice good deeds, such as generosity, morality, and meditation. Practicing merit means decorating your own mind. And also in the second level of Samma Ditthi, we try to practice mindfulness and wisdom with the knowledge of impermanence. If you are like to be successful, if you are like to be skillful, try to practice these both qualities, mindfulness and wisdom, that is GPA and IQ, that Buddha has recommended. This is my sermon. If you have any question, you can ask. If you don't have questions, I ask question you. Then, what is the meaning of Samma Ditthi, right understanding? What is the meaning of Samma Ditthi, right understanding? What I explained you in this period, 1 hour. Yes, understanding of karmic law and understanding of impermanence. That is Samma Ditthi. What is the impermanence that Buddha has explained?
When something has a condition to appear and disappear.
Yes, very good, very good. Appear and disappear is not the correct word. Correct word is arises and ceases. You know, if something appear or disappear, it may come again appear.
To please give a specific example in daily life, so we understand it more.
Yes, as I gave the example, like this sound. This sound actually was not here before you heard it. After you experience it doesn't remain here. When conditions are together, we can make it once. When conditions are again, we can see the sound. This is the old experience that we have through our whole other experience. We can see something again and again, but always it is new. But because of ignorance, when we see the same person, we think mostly the same person whom I saw first time. Actually, he is not the separate person, but it is not the same person as well. When the same conditions are together, we have the same experience, but it is completely different. Every thought, every mental condition arises this moment, help in the next experience. It has some kind of relationship, but it is not certain that we have first. Every moment it arises and ceases. This is the nature of the impermanence that Buddha explained. If we have this knowledge, again and again we try to do good deeds in our life, depending on, gratitude. Gratitude is very, very important. It is the primary quality that we should have. On the other hand, we try to do something to decorate our mind. As I mentioned before, that practicing dana, sila, bhavana. Those are the things. If we are always in this merit, it means our mind doesn't go to other places which disturbs our peace of mind. There were some persons in Buddha's period, such as Anathapindika, Visakha, although they were so busy, always they practice good deeds, merit. Sometimes you may say that I am so busy with my children, I have no time to practice these qualities. Actually, although you can practice generosity, always you can practice sila and bhavana, virtue and meditation. Every moment you can practice loving kindness, breathing meditation, mindfulness. If you do everything with mindfulness, it means you are living in meditation. If you have time to breathe, it means you have time to practice Buddhism. Practicing Buddhism means completely practicing mindfulness and wisdom. This is the path that Buddha has explained us to get rid of suffering and achieve the real happiness. Okay, thank you so much for your listening to this message, this sermon. I am so happy. There is a very special reason. This is the first sermon in English that I did outside my temple. Actually, I have delivered a lot of sermons in English in my temple, but outside my temple, this is the first time I delivered a sermon in English. Therefore, I am so happy. I would like to convey my gratitude again for the resident monks here, and also I appreciate your participation. You have good benefits to listening this message, and you also can be happy. Your life is very valuable. Your value of life depends on how far you practice mindfulness and wisdom. Although your children are well educated, although we have a lot of degrees or very high level jobs, it is not the real success in our life. There are some persons who are professors, who are scientists. Although they are well educated, they can't keep their mind at least 1 minute in a same mental position. How do we say they are successful? That is why Buddha says us, our success, our proficiency, our skillfulness depends on how far we are clever to keep our mind in the present moment. For that, gradually we have to practice our good qualities in our life, and also we should be knowledgeable in Buddhism, and also We should try to our mind. We should try to train our mind. This path has an order. Buddha says, Anukubba Sikha. It is a gradual training. Anukubba Kiriya. It has a gradual practice. Anukubba Sikha, Anukubba Kiriya. Again, Buddha says, gradual progress. It has a order. Little by little, Buddhism goes to the deep level, from virtue to wisdom, understanding of impermanence. Okay, thank you so much for your good attention. I appreciate you again, and by the power of all these medicines, may you be well, happy and peaceful. May no harm come to you, may no problems come to you. May your all righteous wishes meet with success. Finally, may all of us attain final bliss of liberation. Sadhu, sadhu, sadhu.